Hey everyone, this is Norm with BearbullTraders.com, part of the community there. I wanted to do a quick recap on a trade I had this morning for Home Depot. So Home Depot reported earnings before the bell. We usually don't talk about fundamentals, but they beat pretty hard. So as you can see on the 15-minute chart, they ran up quite a bit, almost to 200 from 194.14 yesterday. So it was a nice run up. I noticed immediately before the bell, the last 10 minutes of the early session, the stock just started to sell off hard. This volume on this candle was extremely heavy compared to the rest of the pre-market action. So it's kind of interesting. I had marked up my daily chart previous to this, and I'll go through that in a little bit because I'm sure I'll get some flack for some people saying I averaged down, but I really didn't. They talk about plan your trade and trade your plan. It was actually planned before the bell ever rang when I saw this starting to happen. So I'll show you that right now. So before the bell, we always mark up our charts. It's part of Andrew's class number 2. Previous levels, we always mark yesterday's high, low, 2 days ago high, low, previous day close, and also significant daily levels that happen. And part of those that I had that were in the range of what was taking place in this trade were these back from May. These levels back around the time when earnings and such would have been released before, and there was actually more volume and volatility in the market. So you can see this first level I'm looking at here was this 193.04. This looked like a significant bottom where it went through a little bit this time, but it tapped it 3 times. It went through it once, tapped it here, tapped it there. That was a pretty good level. And then another one that I saw just below that was this high that it made back in May. 191.55 is what I had it marked at. And then this other one where it tapped it 1, 2, 3 times below that. So when the market opened this morning, the stock sold off pretty significantly through previous day close. I had it in my mind if it was going to continue to fall. This is not something we do very often, and it's not something Andrew teaches, but I thought it was getting oversold. It looked like it was getting oversold given a lot of the info that was given about the stock. It's probably profit taking before hours, somebody thinking they could ride a short down to close in that candle that I showed you a minute ago right before the open. So I was going to take half sizes on this, and my plan was I'm going to take my first half size right here, 193.04. This has the potential, if it snaps back, to go back to high of pre-market anywhere in that if this short action here is forced to cover. So I took my first position here, and this is a higher price stock. It can move $1 in no time at all. So that's another reason I took a half size and I traded this the way I did. So 193.04 I took my first, and then I had this was the other level I showed you on the daily chart that looked pretty significant. My plan was if it comes at this, I'm going to take another 100 long, average that together, and so I ended up getting my second 100 at 191.82, averaged at 192.43. My plan to get out of this, if needed to, with that average, if this actually came to fruition and it didn't bounce back faster, I was going to close that at the other level I showed you, which was the 190.75. Sorry, it looks like DAS is freaking out on these levels a little bit. They're kind of bumping around. The new update does that. We're just about, so about 191. If it started falling past that, I was going to get out quick. My upside in this trade from 192.43 was at least previous day close, but I actually anticipated it to go up to these levels possibly here, and I could have held on to this trade later in the day if I had that much room with that kind of entry. So risk to reward was about 191, so it's close, but it's about 2 or better. I thought if we could get back there, we would make it back at least to this 195, which ended up happening. You can see right there, and also in class 2, Andrew talks about that level. So I took this trade, like I said, 200 shares, averaged at 192.43. Now, my son is home sick today, so my wife had to go to work, and I got out of it a little bit early, right there at 195.03. But it was a great trade for the morning. I don't usually show P&L, but there you go. I made 521 on that trade in just a little bit of time. So a good, clean trade. It was exactly what I planned. It's not what we usually discuss. It was something that I had planned beforehand, though. If this took place, I could weather this hit with the expectation of having this happen. And it worked out exactly the way that was planned. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Have a good one.